Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus. Boy, I'm telling you, it's been a rough month. Between the flu that just ravaged my house, then my wife got a gout in her foot out of who knows how that came from a bicycle injury. I pulled my back out this week, so I've been in bed all week, just starting to feel better. Went to the doctor, took care of it. I had a back injury back in the 90s. Anyway, back on track here, I'm trying to take it easy. A little pre-retirement break, right, before I call it quits in May or end of April. Anyway, I'm behind a little bit. I was hoping to get my main Coleus crop planted this week, but I'm going to do it next week. But then again, I do skip. I don't plant all 500. I'll do about 500 this year. I don't do all 500 at once anyway, so it really doesn't matter. You know, Coleus start off very slow. Just so you know, so if you start them a little late, and at by all means, this is nearing the end of February. By all means, we are not late. Quote. You can start them in March. They start off slow, but once the warm weather kicks in, they kick in. So they'll start to catch up a little bit. So don't worry about it. You know, if you had plans and you wanted to, you're going to grow a fairly significant amount or just a few for yourself, no worries. You can plant them and they will eventually catch up. So anyway, today I'm going to plant my jalapeno peppers. I'm going to show you the tray that I did. I guess it was, what, 3 weeks ago maybe? Everything is exploding, so I really wanted to get these in beginning of the week, but I couldn't. As you can see, my Yorkie Bobo here, right there, is standing guard at the front door. So, all right, so let me show you the jalapeno peppers and these. I did an early, I did about 25 early Coleus for the Earth Day celebration in Point Pleasant Borough at the end of April. Okay, everybody. So before we get to the trays here, here's that first tester seed of the jalapeno that I did. I guess it was, I think it was around December sometime. I started this in my aero garden. So you can start anything in the aero garden. So I got 1, 2, and there's another early one coming in somewhere. They're hard to find. I didn't realize I had more than, I have about 3 coming in here. Oh, where is it? There's 3 or 4 coming in. There's another one really early. Right down there. Really early. Oh, where is that other one? I can't find the other one. Like I said, they could be tough to see coming in. They blend in on these so well. But anyway, this is what all of these will eventually look like. And I think by the end of April, I should have all these a good size. So I tried to time it because I don't want to go crazy taking care of jalapeno peppers. But they're heavy feeders, so if you do plant peppers or vegetables, they're heavy feeders. I'm waiting to I ran out of the Osmocote time release fertilizer mix. I'm actually getting it today, and then we'll give it some. But I've been giving this the Miracle Grow general purpose plant food, but they are heavy feeders because it takes a lot of energy to get these and maintain the vegetables. So there's the other one. You can see that little one in there peeking in. So this is going to really be, now at this point, I started to trim the tops, and that actually I'll probably trim the top here. I don't want them too tall. I don't want them very hard to manage. And by trimming the tops, like anything, will actually induce the bottom growth more. So I may get more yield. So decide, how high you want. You see a lot of buds here. I'm not going to cut necessarily buds, but if I have a lot coming in, I will. But I'm going to keep it at a certain height. And boy, this thing's really going. Okay, and again, here we go. I'll have a list in the video for shopping if you're looking to purchase this. This is the potting mixture I use. It's really good stuff, moisture control. And then there's the green bag, which is just standard Miracle Grow potting soil. But use potting mixture. Don't use soil from your yard. Don't use topsoil. Try to get Miracle Grow potting mixture. It's really good stuff. It maintains your water so you don't over or underwater your plants. So you can see I have these pots already pre-filled, and there's the other one, and we're gonna plant some jalapeno peppers. So as you can see, they're good, they're decent size. I have two overall. I have 2 per pod. This is a 36 tray. But I didn't do the whole 36. I saved some. I wanted some early Coleus. And again, my Coleus seed listing is active. It went down for a few days. I didn't even know it, but it got erased. Somebody had asked, they wanted to purchase my seeds and they couldn't find my listing. And I went on there and it was gone. So anyway, I'm up and running. So head over to Jim's Coleus on eBay, get some Coleus seed. These are seeds that came from the seeds that you will get. There's a Kong Rose, a Wizard Rose Kong coming in there with that pink, white, beautiful. Look at how early. There's another Wizard Rose coming in. Christmas Candy. That's an Empire Kong coming in. And there's a Wizard, not a Wizard, but it's sort of like a Colossal Marble, a marbleized Jitters. And again, there's another Wizard Rose, another Christmas Candy down there. So go to Jim's Coleus, get your Coleus seeds. I have plenty of seeds. I have about 8 varieties left that you'll receive, and I lowered the price a little bit as well. So let's get these poppers planted. Okay, when I planted these jalapeno peppers, I planted 2 to a pod, and these are the only 3 that one of the seeds, actually one of them I just pulled because it was, it looked sickly. So I just, it didn't grow. It was just really a runt. So I pulled it. The other 2, unless I didn't put 2 in there, but anyway, the rest of them are 2 to a pod. So I'm going to start with these. And you know what's easy about these when you're doing a single plant with a pot is you don't have to take off that netting. You can if you want. But the netting is porous. The roots, as you can see, go right through it. So you can just take your pot. I put this soil in these pots last week, hoping to get to it a day after. And then I hurt my back and I've been laid up. I've been laid up. So this soil has been out. I should have covered it with plastic, but I didn't. I had the tray on top of each other, so the soil kind of dried out, but it's not really bad. If I just left this soil in these pots open for like weeks and weeks, it would be so dry. But anyway, I'm just getting off the beaten track. So I'm basically gonna, I have a little spoon here, but what you can do with these is you don't even have to, you know, this is really the first year that I've done this. I mean, you're planting something. It's essentially the same principle, but, you know, I'm used to doing Coleus, so it's a little different. But anyway, like I said, you don't even have to take the netting off. Just put the pod down below and cover it up. Now, actually, I'm going to, the next one I do, I'm going to put a little deeper, but it won't be long until this roots out well. So I'm not really worried about the first one here, really, but I think it's better to get it anchored down a little further. So now I don't have the Osmocote, the pellet, the plant food that again I'm waiting for it to get delivered today. That's all right because again I have the liquid fertilizer, but I like the pellets. I like the time release fertilizer pellets because sometimes it's, you know, you don't have the liquid mix or you didn't mix it up, and I don't like to use the liquid stuff every day because I don't want to burn my plants. So the time release fertilizer pellets, and I'll put that link in this video as well under the shopping in the beginning of the video. It's Osmocote plant, general purpose plant and flower food. It's 10, 15, 10 or something along those lines. It's got good, or 15 nitrogen. It's really good for plants. And you just mix it in with the soil. So when I get it later today, I'm just going to sprinkle some on the top and maybe work a little bit into the soil. If I had the time release fertilizer now, I would have mixed it into the soil already. It's good because as you water, it releases the nutrients slowly. So you don't have to worry about burning or nothing. It's really good stuff. And you can buy a large box container of it, depending on how many you're growing. I mean, I buy a 2-pound container because I use a lot, obviously, with my 500 Coleus, which I don't do until later on. I didn't even start my plants yet. But I think you get the picture. And I'm going to give it some water now because this is so fairly dry. It's going to absorb it pretty quick. But then again, you'll find this specifically with old soil from last year or poor quality potting soil that it dries out and the water runs right through it. There's a way to reconstitute old potting soil if you have some. I actually have 2 trays of old potting soil in my greenhouse. And what I do is once I start my season, I have my potting mixture, my big bags, I mix it in a little bit with the new stuff. And that's actually, it saves me money. And also it's good, sort of like the aeration of the potting mixture. And plus it's good quality. I use the Miracle Grow, so it's good quality stuff. I'm not going to saturate this. I just give it enough because the pot is in there already. And that's going to absorb most of the water. But you do want to make sure that all of the soil gets wet because you want the roots that I showed you that are coming out of the netting. You want the roots to go out looking for water. And that's how you promote good, strong roots. And that's why they say if you have lawns, when you're watering your lawn, and I know it's expensive and so forth, but you don't want to just water your lawn for 5 minutes because the roots aren't going to seek that water. It's spoiling them. It's like bringing them food right to your bed. You want to water deep, and you want the water to go down, and you want the grass roots to look for that water, which means stronger roots, which means healthier lawn, healthier, stronger grass. So just a little analogy there for you. So you get your picture. I'm not going to do all 30 here. I think this time what I'm going to do here is do the right thing. And even Miracle Grow potting mixture, you're going to get twigs. One person last year emailed me and said, "Hey, look, I got Miracle Grow, and it had a lot of these woods and twigs." It's not uncommon. It doesn't mean they're ripping you off, but this is actually part of the moisture control, because these will eventually soften up and absorb water and then release the water if the outer soil is dry. So if you want to pull, you can pick them out. You can pick them out. I do sometimes. If something's really large, I'll pick them out. But it's not going to hurt your plants. It's not garbage that they're throwing in. It's not indicative of that it's low quality. This is just part of this type of potting mixture. I use the moisture control potting mixture because of, sometimes we'll get real dry summers and so forth. It's good. But if you're in, like my friend Mark is in England, he doesn't need he doesn't need moisture control potting mixture. I think we already had a discussion about that, right, Mark? That he couldn't find it. I'm like, well, it rains every single day in England. You don't need moisture control potting mixture, so you may have a hard time finding it. So if you live in an area that gets rain every single day, like parts of Florida, my sister-in-law lives in Siesta Key, gorgeous, beautiful place, but they get rain every day in the summer, every day. It doesn't rain all day long, but they get a rain shower at least every day. And then days that maybe it's dry, it's hard, but it's up to you. If you think that where you live, you do have those dry spells, or you get a lot of heat where you get a lot of evaporation, then go for the Miracle Grow. It's only a couple of dollars more for the big bag. So again, I'll have both types of potting mixture in the shopping link at the beginning of the video. So, all right, so here we are. Enough of the yapping. I love to yap. Hey, you know what? This past Tuesday, even in pain, there you go. There's a big piece. I'm gonna leave that in there. This past Tuesday, I went to see George Thorogood and the Destroyers. He's I don't know if you ever get a chance to see him. Of course, it all depends on your music tastes. I grew up with George Thorogood. I know his music. I loved him. I've been to so many concerts. I couldn't tell you how many. Anyway, and I met him once. I shook his hand, had a little conversation with him. He is outstanding. And he is so interactive with the crowd. He's one of those performers who's better live than in the studio. And the studio is great. Live, he's outstanding. Anyway, I had great seats. I ordered them like 8 months ago. And I honestly put them up for sale because I really was in so much pain. Figuring I could sell them to Ticketmaster. I couldn't, so I toughed it out. I went, and I actually have a corner seat. But I had 6th row, which was real close. And it was great. I'm really happy I went, but it put me back a couple of days because when I got home, I was really hurting. So I hurt my back in 1993 at an emergency call. There was somebody hurt themselves very badly at a construction site, and I was helping setting up a landing zone for a helicopter. And I pulled my back out in the morning because we were just getting on duty, and I was rushing. It was like 10 degrees out. I was rushing, and I picked up traffic cones to set up an area, LZ they call it, and I pulled my back out really bad. I was out of work. I was actually out for 3 years, almost 3 years, 2.5 years. So it was serious injury. So every once in a while I'll get a little relapse, but I had a successful surgery. It changed my life a lot, so I'm thankful. But anyway, that was a great concert. I'm glad I went. So you get the idea. Here's some more. It's like almost like a piece of cotton. That's all in the time in the. I keep wanting to say time release. It's all in the moisture control potting mixture. It has a lot of what you might think is debris, but it's not. Again, it's just. It's just to hold on to that moisture. So you can see how it's dribbling out. See how it went right out. That's an indicator that your soil is really dry too. Sometimes because it runs right through, which is also a good thing as well, because you want, especially with Coleus, you want a well-drained soil. You want a well-drained pot. And these pots have mega drainage holes on the bottom, so these are really good nursery pots, the soft pots, and again I'll have them in the description, in the shopping link at the beginning of the video. So we want to get that pod down far enough so we know it's well anchored, not like the first one we did, which was wasn't really that great. But again, you don't need to take the netting off. Look at all those roots coming through. You don't need to take the netting off. So you got down here, and then we'll just kind of put the soil around. There we go. We'll throw those little debris things in there. And a nice shot of water. So here we are. We got the 3 jalapeno peppers planted and ready to go. So stay tuned here. I'll probably do some update shorts on how to do this. Now, I am not going to close this video out without potting up at least 2 or 3 of the Coleus that I see that are in a good size. So if you're planting Coleus along with me, these Coleus, and I'm going to show you in a minute, this is a good size to separate and plant into pots. Okay, everybody, let's get some light on the subject here. All right, so if you're growing Coleus along with me, buy seed, and don't forget, head over to Jim's Coleus on eBay, get your Coleus seeds. These are from the seeds that you will receive. Again, there's a Christmas candy. That's a Kong, an Empire, a Mega Empire Kong. And those are the Wizard Rose Kongs. And you can tell that by the pink, white, and red, purple. Really pink and white. As opposed to this one here, which is just has just the purple in the center. And of course, Christmas candy, you can tell the difference there. So anyway, this is a good size when you're growing them in pods to plant them into pots. Unless you're growing, see, I only use the Jiffy Pods and I separate them later because I grow so many. I don't have the room to keep 500 Coleus separate. I don't have the room to use in my home because I start them in my dining room area with the bay window. And the greenhouse, I don't have the room to pot 500 of them here. So I do them a little at a time. And then hopefully by May, I can get them into the greenhouse outside where I have the room and then separate them. But this is a good size. If you are using these pods, this is a good size to pot them directly and to transplant them. You don't have to take the netting off again if you don't want. Now these here there's a few of them, so I'm going to separate these. There's two, there's three, there's one over in the corner, but I'm going to pull that one out because that's sort of a runt. So we got two here, so I'm going to take the netting off and separate them and plant them in pots. Okay, so here you go. Again, here's your single pod. I have just the one Coleus in here, so you don't have to remove the netting. I already dug the hole out. Just get down below, and then we'll just refill around here. You're gonna get a little dirt on the leaves maybe, but that won't last. So there you go. So this is a good size if you're growing Coleus along with me, whether you bought the seeds from me or you got them at the store. This is a good size to actually put them into nursery pots. Although there are some people who grow Coleus, say you're just growing 25 yourself and you want to just put them right into these pots. You can sprinkle your seeds, just don't do a lot of them because you can only have one or two Coleus in a pot this size. That's why I use the pods. But anyway, this is a good size to separate your Coleus when it's time to pot them. Oh, by the way, here, zoom in here. When you're handling your young Coleus and you put them in the pots and maybe one of the leaves broke, don't get upset. It's not going to kill the plant. Like this one here, it snapped just from handling it. It's not going to. We'll just take a scissors and just snip it off. It's not going to hurt the Coleus. There is your cotyledons. Those are the little radar dishes that first appeared when your germinations first showed up, and you actually see another. That's another node, another stem that's growing in. So if you do rip or tear or break a stem on these, because they're delicate, don't worry about it. Again, just cut them with the scissors. You'll be fine. They will not suffer from that, believe me. It's no different than trimming it. Okay, so here we are. We're going to separate these. It's already ripped here. You can see they have a little. Again, you're gonna have a lot of roots already. These things really root like crazy. Let me get my hand out of the way here. Zoom this out a little bit. So there we are. That's that little runt I told you I'm gonna get rid of. And you know they're kind of close together, so you're gonna just separate it like that. It's like it's almost like a Drake's chocolate cupcake, one of those chocolate cupcakes, very much like that, and just plant them in your pots. So I put it down here and just take it, and if this one here, what I do with these, it's even easier, is I just dig a little hole in the center with my finger. If I had the Osmocote, I would have put it a couple little drops of fertilizer pellet down the center. Drop your Coleus in. And again, if it's not perfectly centered or if it's off a little bit, what did Bob Ross used to say? There's no perfect in nature. There's only happy accidents or whatever. So don't worry about if your Coleus isn't standing up perfectly straight. Just kind of work it a little bit, and that's that. There we are. Again, it's not perfectly centered. Doesn't matter. And then we'll give it a little shot of water. And again, when you water it, it might fall over. So just work with it a little bit. Let the water drain down. Work with it a little bit. Just keep that Bob Ross principle in mind. And this one actually drains a little slower. So, so you get the picture. And then we have this other last one here that will do the same thing. And we'll put that right into the center. It's very simple. Once you get going, you get better at it the more you do. But again, Bob Ross, there's happy accidents. Nothing's perfect. Doesn't have to be perfectly centered. And you just repeat that. And these same thing here. I'm sorry, there's two here, and then there's that one runt in the center that I'm going to pull out, and we'll plant these too. So, okay, and just for those of you who may be doing this same exact thing, I took the netting off, separating these two jalapeno peppers. Now, I'm doing this because of I'm selling them at the farm at the Earth Day, and I guess my farmer's market. I may have some left over. I hope not, but anyway, how you separate this, it may seem like you're harming them. Same thing with your Coleus. You may feel or hear something ripping. It may be some of the roots. They're very resilient. It's not harming the pepper. It's not harming your Coleus, so don't worry about it. That they're very resilient, and it's so easy. Just poke a hole in the bottom here and fill it in. Just boom. Takes very, very little effort, and give it a little water. But once we get it going and they're planted, and I put the fertilizer mix in, all of the soil will be well saturated or with water, not saturated. I don't like to be dripping wet, saturated, but you know what you got my thought. That there won't be as much runoff because the potting mixture will have all of the moisture, will retain any of the water that you're putting down, and won't run through so fast. But you get the thought there. There you go. So jalapeno peppers, they're on their way. And we got like a half a tray. So I'll expect there's about 16 pots per tray for these 3.5s. So that's about 30. So I'll have about 36. I have about 36 jalapeno peppers growing. Okay, here they are. And here's the Osmocote. Finally came. Actually, I ordered a small bottle. I usually get the bigger one. It was on sale on Amazon. I kind of impulse because I didn't have any. And anyway, it's actually pretty good for indoor outdoor plants. For this purpose, it's perfect. Remember, these vegetables, they're heavy feeders, so it's good to fertilize. If you don't have time to mix up the stuff, highly recommend the time release stuff. It's real good. There you go. You know, when I first put them in here, a few of them were like drooping over. That's shock. You may lose one or two, possibly, but I'm looking at all of them, and I think they're all pretty mature. They're strong plants. I don't think I'll lose any of these, but you never know. They all look good, and the one or two of them, that one's the only one that still has a little bit of a droop, but everything else recovered nicely. It's been a few hours since I planted. So here's the final result. These are jalapeno peppers. Now, I didn't finish all. Here's a few of those Coleus. I didn't do them all today. I'm trying to pace myself with my back. So I'll finish up tomorrow. Get the rest of these jalapenos potted. And just so you know, here's the basil that I planted I want to say about 4 or 5 days ago. And you can see about 80% are in. They're a little dry. I'm going to give them a little shot of water. And if you notice, I do have the cover on, but I have it popped off to the side, which you should do. Once you start seeing your germinations coming in, make sure you pop the top a little bit, give them some air. I still have the heat mat on for the other ones, but I'm going to turn, as soon as the other ones show, I'm going to give it another couple of days, and then I'm going to turn off the heat mat, because we don't want to cook the germinations. Again, the heat mat, the purpose for the heat mat is to get them germinated. Once they're all germinated, its job is done. Disconnect your heat mat. If you're a trick I use, now I have no real problem here because I have heat registers here, but you can use your heat mats as an indirect heat source, especially in these greenhouses when they cover up, where you can actually put your heat mat on a shelf and keep your plants above it, and it'll heat everything up nice and toasty warm. But we're a good 75 degrees, which is perfect, optimal for these plants. And then I do close this at night. I don't zip it completely, but it gives a nice, humid, moist ecosystem. So it's really perfect. This is a perfect environment to start any kind of plant. Okay, everybody, so hope you enjoyed that. We got our peppers in, or early Coleus in, and again, I'll be selling those. There's an Earth Day celebration in Point Pleasant Borough, New Jersey, here on the Jersey Shore. I'm going to give it a try this year. I did it about 5 years ago, and it was very windy, cool. It was still kind of raw, and my Coleus didn't do well at all after. The ones I didn't sell, and it kind of set back. So I'm hoping this year, keeping the fingers crossed, that it's a mild day, and we'll be able to sell these jalapeno plants. If not, we're going to have a lot of jalapeno plants. I'll figure another way that we could sell them. I might do like a little sale here or there. I might find a little flea market or whatever. So, all right. So, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching Jim's Coleus. Stay tuned. Remember, head over to Jim's Coleus on eBay. Get your Coleus seeds while they last. I have them packed up. Free shipping. I get them right out to you, and you have them in no time. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.